Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review, and yeah, you can see this is another Benu pen. So it comes in this sort of rubbery style cardboard box, which you can dispose of nice and easily, or you could keep it to keep a few of your pens in if you wanted to. Now, this is a pen, and this is the Benu Euphoria Bourbon in a fine nib. So I think let's unbox this pen and we'll take a look at this pen in all its glory. So first off, you have the pen in this cardboard pouch. You also have a product lifetime warranty pamphlet here. So you can see about the product care that you need to, or you can go through. And you also have a paper straw bedding. So I think let's move this out of the way and we'll unbox the pen. So this is the Bourbon, and I have to say I really do like this pen. This is a beautiful color, and I think it's been aptly named Bourbon because it does look like a glass of bourbon or potentially whiskey. So for me, this is a very nice looking pen. It is very glittery. So if we take a look at the cap finial there, it's a domed cap finial. There is a clip here, and if you don't know these Benu clips, you can actually, if I try to show you here, you actually press down here at the top of the clip, and that actually lifts the clip up a little bit, and that just aids when you are putting it into your pocket. Now, the cap actually tapers into the end point here, and it tapers out to what is a cap band, and it says Benu there. There is a slight step down, and then the body tapers right the way down, quite narrow actually, to what is the cap finial, oh sorry, the body finial. Now, this pen is also faceted as well. It's not a round pen, so it is going to not roll around, or not roll around much, on the desk or table. Now, if I unscrew the cap, you will see a number 6 size nib, and this is a Schmidt nib, and this is a fine nib. And you can see there the ABS plastic feed. You have the customary section here from Benu, and this has a flare out towards the base of the section so that you don't have your fingers slipping down onto the nib and feed. It's quite a long section, I have to say. There's a slight step up here to the threads, and then a slight step up from that to the body. Now, if I unscrew the body here, you'll see it comes with a standard international converter. I believe these are Schmidt converters. They used to be branded Schmidt, but these ones are not. Now, one thing to mention is that these Benu nibs are screw-in nib units. So if you are careful, they're in a little tight to start with. You can unscrew these nibs. So if you had multiple Benu pens, provided they were the same size, and that is a number 6 size nib, you would be able to swap those nibs out across pens. So that is a fine nib. Now, in terms of the size in my hand, this is actually a really nice size. This actually reminds me a little bit of the Benu hexagon. I'd say though that this is, I don't have a hexagon with me anymore, but I would say that this is longer than the hexagon. This for me is actually a really nice oversized pen. You can see in the size of my hand there, it is a long pen. Now, can I post the cap? I can do, and it will post quite deeply. I am starting to feel that it is a little bit back weighted. And I think that's because the cap is obviously quite chunky there in terms of the width, but also the pen tapers down a little bit. So I'm not one that normally posts my caps on pens, but if you do, then you could certainly do that. But I do find that that is, it's, if I were to balance the pen here, like you can see, it's trying to slide down my hand. Now, what I do like though is that this material. So it's got a lot of this glitter material in, but it's got a lot of like yellowy browns and also some very vibrant reds. And depending on how I angle the light here, you can sometimes see blues and greens coming out of some of those sort of crystals there. So this, for me, is a really nice pen, and I have to say, I am seriously thinking about just buying this pen and not returning it to Derek at Stonecott. But we'll see how the pen writes before I do that. I don't typically go with fine nibs. I do have a few fine nibs in my collection. I'm more of a medium or a broad nib person, but equally I could swap these nibs out if I were to pick up another Benu with a number 6 nib. So I think with that, let's do a size check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we are looking at, I want to say 148 millimeters in length. The length of the cap is 70 millimeters in length. So that is a very, very long, oversized pen. The length of the body to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we are looking at about 138 millimeters in length. So this is a long pen for sure. I think with that, let's do a weight check. Now, the full weight of this pen, now I'd say that this is a little bit more weightier than a lot of Benus that I have tried in the past. It's just over 26 grams uninked. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just over 11 grams. And then the weight of the body is just under 15 grams. So this is actually quite, for me, a nice weight pen. It's a little bit heavier, I would say, than some other Benus. So I think with that, let's go and do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Diplomat Aero. We have a Pilot Vanishing Point in the Crimson Sunrise. We have a Magna Carta, and this is the Oxford. We have a London Pen Company, and this is a Christopher 14 faceted model in Honey Noir. We have another London Pen Company Christopher 14, and this is in the Twisted Cherry Blossom. We have a Benu Bourbon. We have a Atelier Lusso Carina, and this is in the Black Ice Illuminite. We have a Twisby Vac 700R Iris. We have an Esterbrook SD Oversized Sparkle in red and an Esterbrook SD Oversized Sparkle in blue. So, I think let's go and do a writing sample. So, this is the Benu, and it is the Bourbon. And this is a fine, and it is a steel nib. Now, the ink in here today, I have put Diamine, and it is ochre. Now, in terms of line variation, you are getting definitely a Western fine. Now, it is a steel nib. If I were to push that a little bit harder, you are getting, I would say, a Western medium. And you can see by these lines, there are no hard starts or skips going on there, which tells me that this nib is pretty well tuned. Now, if I do an ink wetness test, this is quite a wet nib. Certainly bearing in mind that this is a fine nib. So for me, this is a nice writing nib. Now, What do I like and what do I not like about this pen? Well, I have to say I like Benu because Benu typically do knock out some pretty good pens. Their pens do have a little bit of glitter on them. I guess that could be a downside, depending on whether or not you like glitter or not. Uh, but I do like this pen, and this for me is not only a really good size, but also a really, really good colour as well. One thing I like about Benu is that they're typically under 100, about £100, normally around about the 70, £80 mark, depending on the retailer that you're buying it from, and also depending on the model of Benu. It comes with a steel nib. It is a Schmidt nib. It's not a Bock and it's not a Jovo nib. However, though, I have found a lot of the Schmidt nibs to write quite nicely. Some of the fines do have a little bit more toothiness to them. Maybe some of the mediums as well. This one actually writes quite nicely out of the box, so I'm actually quite impressed by this one. So I actually do like this a lot. And I'd like to thank Derek from Stonecott Fine Writing Supplies for loaning me this pen for review. I'll put a link down in the description below that you can click to go straight to Derek's website. And I'll also put a message down here in the lower thirds on screen. So Derek has loaned me this pen for review. And this pen should be going back to Derek. Although I have to say I do like this colour, and I am seriously fighting within myself on whether or not I should actually say to Derek I'm going to buy this pen or not. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to see and wait and see for a later currently inked on whether or not I do or do not add this pen to my collection. So that's the review of the Benu Bourbon. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.